My dad is a retired fighter pilot, and he flew F-16s for 22 years.
My dad was in the military. He served in the Navy for 23 years.
My grandpa, Nicholas Borracino, served 2 tours in Vietnam as an infantryman commander. He's been a really huge influence on my life. He's the reason I'm here.
I'm in the Air Force branch of ROTC. I'm hopefully training to be a pilot, but if that doesn't work, I want to go into diplomatic services of some kind. I go in as a second lieutenant officer once I graduate, and I go straight to pilot school or straight to a different school and then go in the military.
My dad was in the Navy for 22 years, 16 of those of which I was born for. And he was in submarines, even though he was 6'5". He's my hero.
So growing up, it was a lot of seeing my dad get deployed and having my mom take care of us while he was gone. So he'd miss a lot of typical things like birthdays, graduations, just big moments. So for me, Veterans Day is just really honoring all that sacrifice, seeing not only my dad's sacrifice, but my mom having to take care of all 3 of us, my brothers and I. And it was just really just trying to really understand that his job is very important.
In 1871, 4 drums were purchased for the university cadets.
Talks of starting a brass band were brought up soon after, and the University Brass Band was established in 1873 until they disbanded in 1876. In 1884, another band called the Berkeley Brass Band was mentioned in the Berkeleyan, but there is no record of a band at all from 1887 to 1890.
The cadet band reappeared in 1891, and there has been a continuous musical presence on our campus since. This is considered the year Cal Band was founded.
With the history of Cal Band, it's really remarkable how there are all of these soldiers, all of these veterans who put in their time, who had that much patriotism for their country, and in protecting our country and looking out for its well-being, groups like the Cal Band can form from it, and that's something that you would never expect.
When I was in high school, I think similar to my grandpa's kind of journey of not wanting to really go to college after high school and just kind of wanting to go into the military, wanting to find some structure in his life. I think I wanted to do the same when I came into high school, but instead of going to the military, I ended up going to marching band.
Walking onto Luke Air Force Base has always been my home away from home, and I just feel really comfortable and safe when I'm there, and that's how BRH is starting to feel. I just walk on and I'm away from classes and the stress of normal life, and I know people there and I can hear people playing, and it's just really comfortable and kind of feels like home.
For sure that ROTC has definitely shaped how I deal with leadership and fellowship as well. I've learned a lot of things how to work in a team, and I guess those are things that I've learned in both.
My dad's boat, the USS Jeff City that he was on, the last boat he was on, was exigence, which is excellence and intelligence, and it's just something that I've always used in my life, I guess, is just doing everything to your fullest. My dad never he never took a step back. He never waited for somebody else to clean up a mess. He never expected somebody else to do a job that he had to do, and that's the kind of thing that I do, especially now in Cal Band. Just being a leader, since this is completely student run, just being a leader in this band, I try to do the same thing.
One moment in Cal Band that really stuck out to me was my first game day, marching up to Memorial Stadium. I remember the trombones didn't explain anything to us, doing all these funny little dance moves, jumping up in the air. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what the heck is going on. And I keep asking them, what's happening? What do I do? What do I say? And they just tell me, Joey, stop talking, just absorb it all, go with it, and just follow what we're doing, and that's the best way to learn. And I would definitely compare that to a very good analogy as far as surviving at Berkeley. Just really trying to survive and really working together. I remember looking at all my Newman class friends, all of us freshmen, looking at each other what the heck is going on? what are we doing? And that was the first time I felt like I really had a sense of community and a sense of kind of a common understanding. All of us freshmen are there, not really knowing what to do and trying to figure out anything together, but at the end of the day, knowing that even if we do mess up, at least we're messing up all together.
One of the things I think is probably coolest about Cal Band, besides, our striving for musical excellence or marching excellence, is kind of our community excellence, if that's a thing. Our members are so dedicated beyond what I think any other marching band expects of them. And that, I think, kind of calls to the Cal Bandsman sense of duty, so to speak, especially those who are on, coordinating committees, but even not. We have members who drive through, cold nights to ship our instruments up to, away trips. We have members who stay in offices for hours, fundraising or trying to do this and that for the band's betterment. And I don't know, honestly, that sense of duty is probably the most inspiring thing about Cal Band to me.
This organization has fundamentally changed my college experience. It's just a really, really spectacular way to lead, a way to give back with all the various projects and groups that we have within Cal Band. It's a social environment, it is a cultural environment, it is a extracurricular activity. It's pretty much an all-encompassing event. It's really spectacular.
It's just impressive, honestly, to march alongside and work with these people, these friends who put hours a day even towards the behind-the-scenes work, as well as the music and marching, of course, in Cal Band. And I think it's one of the things that makes Cal Band absolutely fantastic.
Thank you to the veterans and just all of the soldiers who have made Cal Band possible and our lives here in our country possible.